Amelia Earhart, an American aviator, achieved numerous flying records and spearheaded the progress of women in aviation. Notably, she made history as the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and the first person to complete a solo flight from Hawaii to the U.S. mainland. Tragically, during her attempt to circumnavigate the globe, Earhart vanished over the Pacific in July of 1937. Despite extensive search efforts, her plane wreckage was never recovered, and she was officially declared lost at sea. Her disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. This is the tale of a woman known to history as Amelia Earhart. Born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas, Amelia Earhart spent a significant part of her early years in the affluent household of her maternal grandparents. Amelia's mother, Amy Otis, married a man with promise, but struggled to overcome alcohol-related challenges. Edwin Earhart, in pursuit of career stability and financial security, faced persistent difficulties. During challenging times, Amy would relocate Amelia and her sister Muriel to their grandparents' residence. There, they sought out adventures, exploring the neighborhood, climbing trees, hunting for rats, and taking breathtaking rides on Earhart's sled. Even after the family reunited when Earhart was 10, Edwin continuously grappled with securing and maintaining steady employment. This instability necessitated frequent relocations, resulting in Earhart attending several different schools. Despite displaying early academic promise in science and athleticism, excelling was challenging amidst the upheaval. In 1915, Amy once again separated from her husband and relocated Earhart and her sister to Chicago, where they resided with friends. During her time there, Earhart attended Hyde Park High School, where her aptitude in chemistry shone brightly. Witnessing her father's struggles to provide for the family fueled Earhart's determination to cultivate independence and not rely on others to take care of her. Following her graduation, Earhart utilized a Christmas vacation to visit her sister in Toronto, Canada. Upon witnessing wounded soldiers returning from World War I, she selflessly volunteered as a nurse's aide for the Red Cross. This experience acquainted her with numerous injured pilots, fostering a deep admiration for aviators. Earhart dedicated much of her free time observing the Royal Flying Corps practices at a nearby field. In 1919, she embarked on medical studies at Columbia University, but chose to discontinue a year later to reunite with her parents, who had reconciled in California. At a Long Beach air show in 1920, Earhart embarked on a transformative plane ride that would alter the course of her life. Lasting merely 10 minutes, the experience left an indelible impression, igniting within her a fervent desire to learn to fly. To fund her aviation dreams, Earhart undertook a myriad of jobs, ranging from photographer to truck driver, saving enough to afford flying lessons from pioneering female aviator Anita "Netta" Snook. Immersing herself wholeheartedly in her pursuit, Earhart delved into every aspect of aviation, devouring literature on the subject and spending countless hours at the airfield. During the summer of 1921, Earhart acquired a vibrant yellow second-hand Kinner Airster biplane, affectionately dubbing it the Canary, and embarking on her quest to carve out a niche in aviation. On October 22, 1922, Earhart soared to an impressive altitude of 14,000 feet, setting a new world record for female pilots. Subsequently, on May 15, 1923, she attained another milestone by becoming the 16th woman to receive a pilot's license from the Fédération Aéronautique, the global governing body for aeronautics. During this period, the Earhart family primarily relied on an inheritance from Amy's mother's estate for financial support. Amy managed the funds, but by 1924 the resources had depleted. Facing a lack of immediate opportunities in aviation for sustaining a livelihood, Earhart made the difficult decision to sell her plane. In 1927, Earhart gradually rekindled her involvement in aviation by joining the American Aeronautical Society's Boston chapter. Additionally, she made a modest investment in Denison Airport in Massachusetts and served as a sales representative for Kinner Airplanes in the Boston region. Through writing articles promoting flying in the local newspaper, she began to gain recognition as a notable figure within the community. Following Charles Lindbergh's historic solo flight from New York to Paris in May 1927, there was a surge of interest in having a woman undertake a similar journey across the Atlantic. In April 1928, Earhart received an unexpected phone call from Captain Hilton H. Rayleigh, a pilot and publicity figure who posed the question, "Would you like to fly the Atlantic?" Without hesitation, she enthusiastically accepted the opportunity. Traveling to New York for interviews, she met with key figures involved in the project, including publisher George Putnam. Shortly thereafter, she was chosen to participate in the groundbreaking transatlantic flight as a passenger. At the time, prevailing wisdom deemed such a flight too perilous for a woman to undertake independently. On June 17, 1928, Earhart embarked on a historic journey from Trepassey Harbor, Newfoundland, aboard an aircraft named Friendship. Accompanying her were pilot Wilmer "Bill" Stultz and co-pilot/mechanic Lewis E. "Slim" Gordon. After approximately 20 hours and 40 minutes of flight, they successfully landed at Bury Point, Wales, in the United Kingdom. Due to adverse weather conditions, Stultz assumed full control of the aircraft during the flight. While this arrangement was pre-agreed upon, Earhart later admitted feeling relegated to a mere passenger, expressing her aspiration to attempt a solo flight in the future. Upon their return to the United States, the Friendship team was enthusiastically welcomed with a parade in New York City, followed by a reception hosted by President Calvin Coolidge at the White House. The press affectionately dubbed Earhart Lady Lindy, drawing a parallel to the renowned aviator Charles Lindbergh's nickname Lucky Lindy. Prior to their marriage, Amelia Earhart and George Putnam collaborated on secret plans for her solo transatlantic flight. By early 1932, their preparations were finalized, and they unveiled their intention to commemorate the 5th anniversary of Lindbergh's historic flight by having Earhart undertake a similar venture. On May 20, 1932, Earhart achieved the groundbreaking feat of becoming the first woman to complete a solo flight across the Atlantic. Her nearly 15-hour journey took her from Harbour Grace, Newfoundland, to Culmore, Northern Ireland. Earhart took off in the morning from Harbour Grace, Newfoundland, with that day's copy of the local newspaper to confirm the date of the flight. Almost immediately, the flight ran into difficulty as she encountered thick clouds and ice on the wings. After about 12 hours, the conditions got worse. The plane began to experience mechanical difficulties. She knew she wasn't going to make it to Paris as Lindbergh had, so she started looking for a new place to land. she found a pasture just outside the small village of Culmore in Londonderry, Northern Ireland, and successfully landed. Earhart's ambitious endeavor to become the first person to circumnavigate the Earth along the equator culminated in her disappearance on July 2, 1937. Procuring a Lockheed Electra L-10E aircraft, she assembled a highly skilled crew of 3 men: Captain Harry Manning, Fred Noonan, and Paul Mance. Manning assumed the role of her initial navigator. Noonan, renowned for his extensive expertise in both marine and flight navigation, was appointed as the secondary navigator. Mance, a distinguished Hollywood stunt pilot, joined the team as Earhart's technical advisor. The original plan was to take off from Oakland, California, and fly west to Hawaii. From there, the group would fly across the Pacific Ocean to Australia. Then they would cross the subcontinent of India, on to Africa, then to Florida, and back to California. On March 17, 1937, they embarked on the first leg of their journey from Oakland. Throughout the Pacific crossing, they encountered intermittent issues with the flight. Upon reaching Hawaii, they landed at the United States Navy's field on Ford Island in Pearl Harbor for necessary repairs. After 3 days, the Electra prepared for takeoff, but an unexpected mishap occurred. Earhart lost control of the aircraft, causing it to loop on the runway. The exact cause of the incident remains a matter of debate. While some witnesses, including an Associated Press journalist, reported observing a tire blowout, others, such as Paul Mance, suggested pilot error as a possible explanation. Fortunately, no serious injuries were sustained, but the plane suffered extensive damage, requiring it to be transported back to California for extensive repairs. During this period, Earhart and Putnam successfully obtained additional funding for a fresh attempt at a flight. However, the prolonged delay and demanding fundraising efforts took a toll on Earhart, leaving her physically exhausted. By the time the aircraft underwent repairs, adjustments to the flight plan became necessary due to changes in weather patterns and global wind conditions. This time, Earhart and her crew would undertake an eastward journey. Captain Harry Manning was unable to join the team due to prior obligations, while Paul Mance's absence was reportedly attributed to a contractual disagreement. After departing from Oakland to Miami, Earhart and Noonan embarked on June 1st from Miami amidst considerable fanfare and media attention. Their route led them through Central and South America before veering eastward toward Africa. Crossing the Indian Ocean, they eventually landed in Lae, New Guinea, on June 29, 1937, having covered approximately 22,000 miles of their journey. The remaining 7,000 miles would be traversed over the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. In Lae, Earhart fell ill with dysentery, which incapacitated her for several days. During her recovery, necessary adjustments were made to the aircraft. Additional fuel reserves were loaded on board, while parachutes were stowed away as they would not be needed during the solitary flight across the expansive and isolated Pacific Ocean. On the morning of July 2, 1937 at 7:20 a.m., Earhart reported her position, placing the Electra on a course at 20 miles southwest of the Nukumanu Islands. At 7:42 a.m., the Itasca picked up this message from Earhart. Quote, "We must be on you, but we cannot see you. Fuel is running low. Been unable to reach you by radio. We are flying at 1,000 feet." Unquote. The ship replied, but there was no indication that Earhart heard this. The flyer's last communication was at 8:43 a.m. Although the transmission was marked as questionable, It is believed Earhart and Noonan thought they were running along the north-south line. When the Itasca realized that they had lost contact, they began an immediate search. Despite the efforts of 66 aircrafts and 9 ships, an estimated $4 million rescue authorized by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the fate of the 2 flyers remained a mystery. The official search ended on July 18, 1937, but George Putnam financed additional search efforts, working off tips of naval experts and even psychics in an attempt to find his wife. In October 1937, he acknowledged that any chance of Earhart and Noonan surviving was gone. On January 5, 1939, Earhart was declared legally dead by the Superior Court in Los Angeles. For several decades now, Amelia Earhart Day has been an annual celebration held on July 24th, commemorating her birthday. Despite her initially shy demeanor, Earhart possessed a captivating charisma that masked her resolute determination and ambition. Through her fervor for aviation, she obtained numerous world records in distance and altitude. Yet, beyond her achievements as a pilot, Earhart aimed to challenge societal norms regarding the role and worth of women. She dedicated herself to proving that women could excel in their chosen fields just as men did, advocating for equal recognition and opportunities. This multifaceted approach contributed to her widespread popularity and international renown. Furthermore, her enigmatic disappearance has only added to her enduring legacy, ensuring Earhart's enduring recognition in popular culture as one of the most iconic pilots in history.